Welcome back to another adventure, fellow foragers. This time we are trekking to a very remote part of the coastline, jumping in the ocean and freediving for food. We find some amazing seafood hidden under the rocks and buried in the sand, and are able to gather enough to again enjoy a cook-up on the shore and take some home to our families. Stay tuned for the action. Welcome back to the channel, fellow foragers. Today I'm out on the coast path with Barclay, and the mission is to take this path and to try and get into the sea near the legendary lighthouse. Many of you will know the location. I'm not saying exactly where we are to respect the locals, but we're going to probably use the drone to see if we can find a spot to get in, and then hopefully we're going to be able to find some crabs and lobsters. Possibly, we've got spear guns as well, so possibly some fish. Very, very excited. Hopefully a cook up on the beach and take some food home as well. Platform here, perfect to suit up and launch off the rocks, and we can have a cook up here later as well. So step one of the mission is complete. We've scrambled down the hill to, well, what is a kind of rocky outcrop, and this is where we're going to launch ourselves in just a minute. As you can see, I'm extremely excited because the conditions are so good. The sun's out, and also it's coming up to low tide, so hopefully we'll be able to see those lobster holes and foraging grounds really easily. Before we jump in, I wanted to highlight a few aspects of our gear we're taking today for foraging to help any beginners out. I also have a new thing, exciting new thing that I want to show you, which I feel is going to really transform the dives. But first of all, today we're going to be taking a torch. This is an orca torch. Orca torches are absolutely excellent. I've found they last forever as long as you look after them, and they're super bright. And the batteries also go on for about 5 hours for a 1000 lumen torch like this. Today it's on the end of the elastic float line, which is connected to the exciting new plumer board. So this float board is going to enable me to take a drink of water, the foraging gauge, the lobster hook, a couple of spear guns. So this is going to be our kind of vessel today. You can see it's even got the vessel diver down flag as a beacon of visibility. Barclay's taking the standard torpedo float, so between us we'll have good vis in the water for any boats to be able to see us. There's no chop today, so we'll be very visible. Safety first. I actually forgot the flag on my last dive. The lobster hook is actually something that Barclay at Start Point has designed and made himself with the local craftsman Ben Whitehorn, and you can see he's carved the teak handle here, really ergonomic, 65cm steel to actually reach the lobsters right in the back of the caves, because as you will see in a minute, some of these lobsters are really far back and they need a gentle tap behind their tail to actually get them to turn around and come out of their burrows. Last thing I wanted to point out, the trusty foraging bag, so useful. Nice long lanyard here. You can kind of lark's foot it onto the float. You can open this and get tons and tons of scallops and lobsters inside. Really cheap, really strong, and really useful. So there we go. That's the main aspects of our foraging setup today. This area is very tidal, so later on when we get back in I will explain about how the tides work here, especially off the Devon coast, because lots of people have asked that. And hopefully when I do explain that, we'll have some lobsters, maybe crabs, possibly even scallops. So we're going to jump in the sea now and see how we get on. Itching to get in the water. So to any complete beginners perhaps who haven't ever used a spearfishing wetsuit before, they are much different to surf wetsuits. The inside of the wetsuit is known as open cell because it's got no lycra covering it. And what that means is you do need to lube the suit up to get into it. We use a little squeeze of conditioner and a couple of litres of water in my trusty old lube bottle. Once you've swirled that around, you've got to make sure you get it down the arms as well. The suit will slide on really nicely. But it's important to bear in mind that a spearfishing wetsuit makes a massive difference to a surf suit when diving. First of all, when you're diving, you're often moving very slowly and relaxing, so you're not releasing as much body heat as you are when you're surfing. And also, these are much more compression resistant, so you can dive down deep in these suits and they will withstand that compression. If you're taking a surf suit down to 10 meters or so, it's going to become wafer thin and you're going to get really cold really quickly. So these are phenomenal. If you're going spearfishing and you really want to get the most out of your adventure or underwater foraging, worth investing in one of these wetsuits. Already loving this float. Gun, hook. Got the foraging bag on here. Nice clear flag. Let's go. Jumping in the water, we are greeted with truly epic conditions. The sun's rays sparkling through the water. We can easily make out the bottom here in about 5 meters. We've got all the ingredients here for what should be an epic foraging adventure. I signal to Barclay that I'm going to do my first dive into this kind of gully, and my aim is to dive to the base of the cliff, look for any cracks or crevices or ledges where the lobsters may be hiding. Lo and behold, the first crevice we look in has a big lobster sitting right at the back. We've gone not more than about 2 meters from where we launched. Dive to the base of the ledge. There's a big lobster under a rock. So it's going to be a team effort. Barclay from one side with the hook. I'm going to be the other side. The plan is, here's the boulder. Barclay's going to push with the hook one side, and hopefully the lobster will shoot out the other side. On paper, we'll see what happens in theory. Practice. I descend down to this slab, and you can see Barclay coming down on the right here, hook outstretched. Here you can see the hole we're going to try and flush the lobster out of. This old warrior really is standing its ground. Remarkable. Barclay's rattling the hook up in its grill, but it's still standing its ground. Eventually, with enough persuasion, she starts to back out. Get my hand round the tail and secure an amazing lobster. Is it old boy?
No, it's a lady.
Ah!
It's a lady. You see the wide flared tail, and you can also see the last pair of swimmerettes, all feathery and soft. This is very much a lady. And she's been in that hole. Oh, she got me. She's been in there for a while. You can see her. Look at that. I've never seen that before. Never seen that. That's so interesting. She's got growth on her antennae. She's cross. You can see. She's not happy with the situation. Fascinating.
Right, go quick. Oh, she's got my finger. With the lobster secured in our net bag, we continue our adventure underwater foraging. Here you can see amazing sea life wherever we look. Ocean drifters, we got playful, cheeky seals buzzing around us. And the thing I love about lobstering is so proactive, and you're diving around looking in all these crevices and caves, and there's so much life to see. Looking in this cave here, yet another lobster. So many lobsters around. This one a little bit on the small side, so we leave her or him to grow for another day. A few moments later, I come across something pretty spectacular.
There's a lobster pot down here that's rotted away, and actually underneath it there's a big lobster. So we should be able to get him out fairly easily, but we'll see.
So once again, this lobster extraction is very much a team effort. I'm trying to grab this old disused lobster pot, wrench it out from between the rocks so that Barclay can get his hand in and go for the grab. Whilst we are touching this lobster pot, which is obviously long disused and is now sea litter, I will just remind people, never go near active lobster pots. It's very, very unwise to go near a fisherman's livelihood. Barclay does well though to get his hand in here and secure this lobster.
Well extracted, Barclay.
Good teamwork.
Good teamwork. Woo.
I just check the tail, ensure there's no V-notching, no damage. And once again we can see soft feathery swimmerettes. This is another female lobster. We continue on with cheeky seals buzzing around us, nibbling our fins and coming in to say hello. About 10 minutes later, Barclay spotted one of my favourite bits of seafood hiding in a small crevice at the base of this rock. This edible crab will not come out without a fight.
Oh, lovely. Gonna try and lure him out with the bait.
Nearby, we found this kind of old ray carcass. Trying to use this to coax him a little bit out of his crevice so I can get the hook behind him. We place the carcass by the crab and wait for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes passes, I dive down and try to get the hook in behind this beast.
Well done! Got it! Woo! Good edible crab. I didn't think it would come out that easily. Well, I had to pull with all my strength. Beautiful crab. Yeah, beautiful. Absolute beauty. Well found.
With a couple of lobsters and a nice big edible crab, we are happy to have enough crustaceans and we decide to start drifting back. We swim out into slightly deeper water and do a drift over the sand to see if we can find any shellfish. Beautiful conditions, the current is light, and the visibility is pretty decent for this area. After a couple of dives each, we have a dozen or so scallops to cook up on the beach. Awesome day's foraging.
So I think this video again lives up to the title, Epic Foraging Adventure. I mean, we've only been in quite a confined space. We swam about 100 metres of coastline. In the shallows, we found the lobsters and brown crab. Probably the average depth of these lobsters and crabs was 3 metres, 2 to 3 metres. And then we pushed into about 4 and 5 metres for the scallops. So an amazing haul. We started off with this big female lobster. As you can see, carapace size needs to be 9 centimetres to be legal.
and she's probably more like 14 centimeters. So absolutely huge female lobster. Again, another female. You can see the last swimmerettes are feathery. If this was a male lobster, these last two swimmerettes would be hard, but they're soft and feathery, so it's a female. Again, well in size, she's 2 or 3 centimeters in. And lobster number 3. You see these little ones really do go. She's also a female, and this one's a little bit more close to the mark, but still in by about 5 or 6 mil. So all the lobsters are good and legal. The brown crab, now let's see first of all. Okay, so this is a male brown crab, because you can see it's got a really pointy abdomen. If this was a female, it would be more rounded. In Devon, brown crabs need to measure 15 centimeters. In fact, it's actually 15 centimeters female, 16 centimeters male. So our crab measurer, you measure across the top there. Back.
She's animal.
Measuring across the top of the shell, you can see it's in by about 1 centimeter. So it's a lovely edible crab. Bit of a treat, as we don't catch them too often. They can be really hard to get out of the crevices. And all the scallops, I'm pretty sure if this one's a bit close to the limit, these need to be 10 centimeters across. That one's quite close to the limit, but still in by about 3 mil. You can see the general stamp here is, well, huge, 14 probably, 14 centimeters. So all in all, a great haul of seafood, a lovely day. To be honest, I'm thinking we might put this big old lady back, to be honest. She's probably got more years of breeding in her. She's a bit barnacle, possibly not the best eating quality. So I think we'll go and put her back. We've got a lobster each to take home, a brown crab. I'm going to cook up a few scallops on the beach.
Goodbye, big girl.
See you later.
Big girl.
Go. Go. So before we enjoy these scallops cooked up, I'm going to try one completely raw. Sneaking knife through that muscle. Grab the frill, pull back, and we have a clean scallop. Put the roe to one side, and let's give this a go. Okay. Really hard to describe, really hard to find the words for that.
It still tastes very sweet though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is sweet. I do think I prefer them cooked, personally. But maybe that will grow on me. I'm going to try a raw one each time and see. Funny shell, look at that. Obviously something was obstructing the shell as it grew, a stone or something. Interesting. So this time I'm going to keep the roe. So I'm just going to make a nick across here, pull out the stomach, which is this black bag, this black sack, pull off the frill, and then I'm pretty much left with the adductor muscle, which is obviously the best part, and the roe. And as you can see, the roes are really good, still really vivid orange. These are beautiful scallops, so I'm just going to give them a bit of a clean. The spoon is really useful to take these out, but otherwise just a bit of back and forth with the knife. Cutting down here. And there we have the South Devon scallop ready to go in the pot.
should do us.
Looks very delicious.
Oh, that one's still beating. Wow, wow, they look great and they feel good as well. Oh, this is going to be a taste sensation.
So Chef Barkley, he's prepared a dish with some stewing tomatoes, garlic, soy sauce, chili, and I'm just going to finish with a squeeze of lemon. The aromas coming off this, absolutely divine. Let's have a go.
Down the hatch.
I'm afraid we don't have any cutlery today, so yeah. You can taste a hint of that soy sauce, like it's not overpowering. With the garlic and the stewed tomatoes, that concentrated flavour in the broth, and then the taste of a scallop coming through is. This is restaurant grade. A great way to end the day. So, this is one of my favourite places. Kind of giving a location away really, but the business I work for is named after it. And it was actually the first place I dived 10 years ago when I started my diving journey. I got in, not right here, but about 200 yards around the corner. And I was hooked from then on really, seeing spider crabs and the seals just like today. All the marine life really was what just got me totally hooked on foraging and spearfishing. Taking a few critters and enjoying the seafood is obviously a big part of it. Being out there and seeing all that marine life, it's so peaceful and so calming. If you do want to start your spearfishing journey, give Start Point Spearfishing a call, and whoever's working there will be able to give you expert advice into your spearfishing or foraging journey. And what is more, I also wanted to mention that this is also a really, really treacherous area to dive. I mean, the walk down is a bit of a scramble, but that can be done safely as long as you're wearing sensible footwear and being careful. But this here is a race, and what that means is at certain points in the tide, the water is going so quickly you can't swim against it. It's a river. And actually for the majority of the day, it's like that. So we are in the calm here, but if we were to swim that way, that would be very, very dangerous and would be swept a long way. So if you're going to an area like this and you're swimming near a headland, be extremely careful. It's worth checking something called the tidal streams. Tidal streams, you can get them on apps like Navionics, or you can buy a tidal atlas that will show you how the water's moving and how that corresponds to your local high and low tide time. As a general rule of thumb for us on the south coast of Devon, slack water is 3 hours after high water, your local high water time. So we got in today at midday. High tide was at 9, so it was actually slack water when we got in. And then it started to ebb and the stream started to go out of the English Channel, and that's when we could feel quite a strong pull towards the race. So we did have to be careful. We were tucking in around the rocks. So my main message here today is to be extremely careful around headlands whenever you're swimming out from the rocks. But other than that, this is an incredibly enjoyable hobby and very, very rewarding. So very, very big thank you for watching the video. I'm sorry there aren't very many, being very busy, but hopefully there'll be another one soon. All the best.